Welcome to the Superhero Sidekick Leadership Coaching Podcast with Joel Smith and Joe Baker. We're here to help you develop your superpowers. This is the Superhero Sidekick Coaching Podcast. I'm Joel Smith.
I'm Joe Baker. We're not here to be the superhero. We just want to be your sidekick and help you along in building your business, building your not-for-profit. Let's help you grow it fast and really scale.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook and visit us at superherosidekick.com.
Welcome to the Superhero Sidekick Coaching Podcast. I'm Joel Smith, and with me is Greg Gilbaugh. Greg has been on the show quite a few times, and he's co-hosting with me today. Joe Baker is he's taken a week off here. I don't know if many of you heard kind of his story, but he's got a fascinating story. He had a daughter, Ember, that was born about a week or so ago, and died after the first just a little bit over an hour, and they knew it was going to happen. And so anyway, Joe and Ann are kind of recovering from that a little bit, and we wish them the best, and I think they're doing really well. But if you want to know more about that, go out to the Superhero Sidekick Facebook page, or go to superherosidekick.com and follow their stories. So, well, hey, Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really well. It's good to be with you again, Joel.
Yeah, this is always fun. So, Greg, you and I were talking a little bit and coming up with a topic for today's show. And we really we're on the same page with this. We wanted to talk about anxiety and stress.
Yes.
And so that's what we're going to do today, everybody. So, we all know about the pandemic. We all know about, social unrest and political problems. And, I think we're all in a better place in a lot of ways than we were a year ago. But in some ways, I think we're really still struggling. And so we're going to talk about stress and anxiety in the workplace today from a couple different things. We got two parts, so we'll do this program and we'll do another one after this. But so, Greg, I know you've got some really great ideas on stress in the workplace because, well, you deal with it. You have a company and you've got several employees, and like everyone else, you're not immune to it.
Yes. It just seems like stress and anxiety, as I'm talking with either, people that I'm working with, or even people in my industry that have coaching relationships with other dentists. It seems like stress and anxiety, the unknown, are some really, really important topics to them. They're really dealing with it. And we've even noticed here in dealing with our clientele, patients, that stress seems to be a common topic for them. It seems to be coming up more and more. And as I look at it, I really don't think it's going to be getting any easier. I think with the holidays coming up, there are some stresses with that. And I think they're going to probably be magnified. And so it's going to be coming into our businesses, because our businesses very much are either we serve people or we have people that make up our companies, our businesses, our organizations, and people are dealing with these stresses, and it's going to start impacting our business unless we have some really good foundational fundamentals in place that can really combat that and help us to navigate it.
Yeah, right. And just for clarification too, when we talk about stress and anxiety, they're not necessarily interchangeable. They are two words with slightly different definitions, but yet we like to use them together because there's a lot of similarities. But stress is something that's not necessarily bad. Stress is something that's just a sense of urgency. It's something that needs to be that needs to be brought to our attention, and it's something that needs to happen. And stress can be a great motivator to help us move into healthy actions. But anxiety is a little bit different. Anxiety oftentimes will come after stress when we're not dealing with stress very well. But anxiety is often usually associated with fear. The fear, as you said, uncertainty. And so let's talk about some of those fundamentals.
Well, I think if I were to give it like a metaphor or an analogy, it would be like a ship that's sailing in some very, very turbulent waters. Those are stresses that come against the organization. And it can cause then some negative effects for those of us that are traveling on it, some anxiety. I think two things. One is that, does the ship have a destination so that you're not just lost at sea? To say, we know where we're going. Do we have a vision for our business and our organization? And sometimes leaders in a business, they say that they have a vision, but it's really just lip service. And it's just something cool to have, you know, the plaque in the meeting room or whatever. And it really is not something that resonates throughout the organization and becomes part of the culture. When an organization says and understands and actually starts to impart this, when they engage with it, this is where we are going as a business. We know this is where we are headed. It's our north on our compass. When you're in a storm, to know that we're going somewhere, that we will have to go through stress, storms, times of high winds and high waves, that's going to happen. But if we know that we have a destination, that helps. The other thing is the keel, that which is underneath the ship that provides the stability. Those are the things that are underwater, but are so critical to the organization. Those are what I refer to as here as core convictions. Those are like the guiding principles on which this organization is going to run. Those provide the deep stability. If your core convictions are just pretty ornaments above the water, they won't help you during times of storm. If they are legitimately convictions, this is exactly the way that we are going to behave. These are going to guide our actions and our thoughts, and they go deep, and your people in the organization really engage with them. They're going to be able to withstand stress a lot more, and anxiety goes down quite readily.
Right. I love that. Convictions, you know, and pretty much any worthwhile vision that any company would have, or any family or church or individual, but any vision that we're going to have that's going to be of substance is really going to have conviction. It's going to have a burden, something that's important that we need to fight for, that we're willing to sacrifice for, that we're willing to put up with difficulty for, to get through. So I think that's great. And if a company doesn't have that, if we just really are just kind of floating along, and our vision is just something that, like you said, it's just a plaque on the wall, or it's something on the homepage, but it doesn't really hold water to something that's really important to you. And if you can't communicate that to the rest of your team and get your team to buy into that, then it's just words then.
One of the things that I think is important is that, you know, your vision and your core convictions are so much the fundamentals of which your organization needs to be built upon. And, you know, I've said a number of times, you know, in athletics, when a team is bad and they just want to get good, what they have to do is they have to learn the fundamentals. God in his great grace and omniscience has given us football so that we will understand all sorts of life principles. If you're a bad football team, it's because you don't do the fundamentals well. You don't block, tackle, run, pass, catch, and those sorts of things. So learning those fundamentals helps you to go from being bad to being good. Now, if you want to be great and you want to go from good to great, you master the fundamentals. It's not that you learn trick plays or, you know, some kind of snazzy new offense. Those fundamentals, when you want to get great, you master them. And as a result, you have to go back and make sure that your people understand these things, and you weave them through the current stresses or the current victories over and over again. It's easy to, I find myself, we have recently hired 3 new employees in the last month. And as a result, I found myself saying, you know, when they were going through the hiring and the vetting process, we talked about our core convictions. Since they've been here, have they had any more talk about that? And I would have to say, no. And so I have to go back and say, you know what? Team meetings, we have to make sure that we are reintroducing these things over and over and over again. It might be like, look, we've got 6 core convictions here. Starting next week, it's like, hey, here's a theme for this week: commitment, which is one of our core convictions. So let's focus on commitment, because we want to marinate everybody in it. And again, it's like, if people say, well, I've heard this before, and it's like, good, go out and get great at this. Show us what great commitment looks like. And then everybody is involved and everybody is moving in the same direction, and the keel is going deep. The rebar in the cement of your organization is going down deep. You've got real pillars that are causing stability in times of stress, socially, personally, economically, civilly, all those areas.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Greg, I'm wondering if would you be willing to share your company's purpose statement and core convictions?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and then I'd like to share mine too. I think it'd be good to give an example maybe of what these might look like.
Yeah. We exist to provide an exceptional dental experience, not only for the patients, but their families and the people of this community. We are here to create something good for others. That is our vision statement, where we're going to go. Our core convictions are commitment. We personally choose to engage in the vision and the mission of this office. Number 2 is skills, is that we strive to bring the best skill that we can to serve the patients. 3 is service. We are here to serve not only our patients, but we are here to serve each other to the best of our abilities. Integrity is that we strive to bring this type of exceptional work into every facet of the organization. Honor, we will choose to honor those and honor God in all that we do while we are here. And then the last one is passion. We will bring passion to every expression and work of this office as we strive to serve others.
Wow, I love that. Those are terrific. Those are great. So yeah. Hey, I'll share mine real quick, and then we can talk for a minute or so, if you don't mind, about just what having a great purpose statement and core convictions or core values, really, what does that do for people when they hear those? So my company, and I'm a franchisee for Papa Murphy, so we have 8 restaurants, and we have several employees as well. But our purpose statement is: we exist to impact our people by inspiring personal growth. Empowered team members create great customer experiences. And our core values, and we have 4 of them: trust is the foundation to leadership. Modeling the right things shapes the right behavior. And equipping our people to achieve personal excellence. And the last one, putting our people first through encouragement and support. And you and I have a lot of similarities in ours, I noticed.
Yes.
Mine's a little shorter, a little bit more concise, and yours is a little bit longer and more specific. And I think that's great. There's no wrong or right way to do it. But what it really needs to do is it just needs to reflect the truth about the culture, doesn't it?
Yes.
It can't be a pipe dream. It has to reflect what we're really about.
Yeah, I think that when I came up with the core convictions, it was really, it's like, if I were doing dentistry, this is what I want to hallmark and to characterize how I want to engage in dentistry. And really, if I were to go out and all of a sudden stop doing dentistry and, let's say, for instance, start a coaching business, okay, like I have, these are the 6.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, these are still the 6 things that I would want to characterize how I want to run my coaching business. When we started a children's clinic, it's like, well, what are the core convictions of this subspecialty? It's like, it's the same ones. If I were to go out and sell cars, these would be the same ones. And it's true. It's like, this not only exemplifies who we are, but it's also, this is where I want us to strive to become, because it is something that not only we can engage and we can embrace now, but it's also like, isn't this something, if we focus on it and we really want to embrace it, we can strive, it's going to help us to get better and better and better and better. So culture is the reflection of, it's like a casserole. When everyone comes together, someone's going to create the culture. And I want to make sure, as the leader, this is the culture, this is the aroma or the flavor of this office, that come in and be part of it, and make it something that is really refreshing for everyone that comes here. Don't bring your own culture. You can come and enhance the culture that we're trying to grow and be part of here now.
Right. And if you, and this is just advice for anybody, whenever we're putting ourselves in a position of employment, whether we're starting our own company, whether we're working for somebody else, or whatever the case is, we do need to bring our own personality to the table, our own experiences, our own creativity, and that just enhances the culture, makes it better. But we really have to be anchored on those principles, as you were talking about. So
Yes.
yep. So Greg, what would you say? What's the effect if people were to join an organization and these values or the purpose statement isn't very clear? It's not communicated well. Maybe it's just not even, maybe they don't even know what that is, but what's the results of that?
I think when you have a real, not only a clear vision, but it's compelling, people look at it and just say, you know what, I want to be part of that. It really starts to have a lot of tangible effects on the business. First of all, everyone in the business starts to understand, it's like, I am part of something that is really bigger than myself. And people want that. That's why they want to get into groups or, community, whatever. They want to be part of something that they can identify with, and they go, this resonates with me. And when you get a group of employees that you work with together in this, there is all of a sudden, there is a lot more clarity in the organization. This is exactly where we're going. People understand, it's like, I see how I fit in the whole. I'm a part, but I'm an essential part. And I see how my part, what I do, is not inconsequential, but it's actually vital to carrying this out. They feel more important and more valued. The other thing is that will start to attract other, not only clients and customers, patients. It's like, there's something going on here that they want. We can't do it all, but we can do something. This is what we're doing, that attracts people. Say, I want to be served in a place like this. The other thing is that other people in the industry say, I fit with that kind of a culture and organization. When an opening comes, I want it. Clarity. It provides for those that are engaged with it. You have less employee turnover. Who likes training new people? It's very expensive and time consuming. But if you don't do it, it's going to come back and be more time consuming and more expensive. So it reduces your employee turnover. It increases your employee engagement. You become more productive in whatever you're doing. If you're making widgets, objects, or serving people, you get more productive. There's more harmony. There is less, there's a culture that is enhancing rather than divisive and bitter. It's really good. It makes decision-making more efficient and valuable, because it's like, what are we going to do? Well, does it enhance where we're going and what we're about and what we're doing, or does it not? Because if it doesn't, let's not even consider it. If this enhances what we're doing, then let's consider it and see how it actually enhances. People are understand, they can see the whole picture and all the way down to the details. It is very, very valuable for an organization.
Yeah. And, and we're talking about stress and anxiety in the workplace. And when it comes to stress, we're going to have stress. Tough times are just going to come in any business. You're just going to struggle. Times change. The economy changes, culture changes. And so you're always going to have stress no matter what. But when you're anchored in the way that we're talking about, you can create a sense of culture where people or people trust each other, and they know this is going to be hard, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to get through it together because we're aligned and we've got each other's backs.
Yes.
And that's the stress angle of it. The anxiety part of it too, I think, is just that when you have that, you reduce fear. Anxiety is usually, making something in the future that you are, anticipating. You're making it come true now. And it's usually your worst fears. And when you have a stable ship like that, those fears are subsided, and people can relax a little bit and work together.
Yeah. I think when I've had some staff members come in and talk to me candidly about stuff, and, we have to admit, people have a lot of stress, maybe in their personal lives. There are things that are broken in the world. Families are broken. Some people are broken. That's the reality of the world we live in. But to have, staff members, teammates that are going through some personal stuff that is really difficult, and for them to then say, you know what, one of the things that I appreciate about this workplace is that this is a safe place for me. This is a place where I come and I can really get my cup filled up, instead of, it's like when I come here, it's draining, it's demoralizing, it's hard, it's stressful. All businesses have stress. All people, they bring a certain degree of brokenness, yes. But to have someone come in and say, you know what, this work environment, really, it's a place where I get my cup filled up. And that is a great place to work at. And as a leader, you just kind of go, the effort is worth it. It is so worth it. Where this is a place where people can get built up and get their cup filled up. Who likes putting out fires? We all have, but when you get to a place in an organization where it's like, you know what, our day is just not filled up with putting out fires all over the place. A great vision, a great mission, how are we going to get there? And people embrace it. It's like the fires that spring up get less, and you're able to deal with them quicker. And it's like, you know what? We're focused on growing.
Right.
We're focused on going forward and getting better. People, that's effort, that's work. It can be tiring and exhausting at times, but it's like, this was so worth it.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm so tired of just dealing with junk and crap and disorder and chaos and putting out fires. I'm exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Right. Yeah. Some things are just worth fighting for, and
yes,
putting that culture in place and backing it up through personal character. And I think personal character is a big piece of this whole thing as well. And so anyway, hey, Greg, this has been a great topic. We love this. I know we could just talk forever and go on, but so Greg, if people wanted to get a hold of you and talk more about that, and maybe have you come alongside of them and help them in their company with some stress management, how would they get a hold of you?
Yes, they can contact me. I have two websites. One is Dr. Greg Gilbaugh, drgreggilbaugh.com. That is my website for speaking engagements. And then our new one that is getting launched is the kalosbusinessgroup.com. Kalos, K-A-L-O-S, the kalosbusinessgroup.com.
Excellent. All right. And my coaching website is joelsmithcoach.com. I'd love to talk to you as well. Thanks, Greg. This has been terrific. Thank you, everybody that's listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Joel. You've filled up my cup today. I love being with you.
Excellent.